Guys, what if by the end of this video, you are going to be better than your competition? What if I can give you a few little nuggets that will immediately make you better than them, literally overnight? None of them cost any money, or not really, and you will immediately be bigger and better than your competition. That's what I'm going to do here today, right? Do you know these webinars or videos that you watch? You give up part of your day to watch the video. You watch it for 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever, and you come away and you've learned absolutely nothing. This is not going to be one of them. You're going to have three actionable things that you can put straight into your business as soon as you've finished watching this video. Okay, now, for me to make you understand it, at Trade Coach, we have a thing called 10-0 coaching, okay, as in like 10-0, yeah? Now, in reality, it should be called 20-0 coaching now because it's evolved over the years. But I still call it 10-0 coaching, right? Anyway, so what it is, it's me giving you what we call here at Trade Coach CNEs, critical, non-essential, just little things that they're not essential, but actually when you start doing them, they're critical. Little things that will bring you, if you're here and your competitor's here, it's going to take you up 1, 2, 3. That's where you'll be by the end of this video. And then obviously, if you ever get to 20, you're 20 times better than these guys down here. And at that point, a client is no longer buying on price, okay? And just another little promise for you, again, full transparency. If you decide to book a call with me after you've watched this video, on that call, I'm going to give you a further 3 CNEs to plug and play straight into your business. Guys, you're busy, so am I. Let's jump right in. So 10-0 coaching. Number 1, right? Now this does only work for certain industries. So if you work outdoors, like a landscaper or a roofer or windows and doors, solar panels, obviously driveways, that kind of thing, this works an absolute treat, okay? If you're a painter and decorator, for example, yeah, this may not work as well. But if you've got vans outside and skips outside, that kind of thing, this is going to work really well. This is called a neighbour's letter, right? This is a letter that I used to put out to all my clients, neighbours, before we started the job. Now, let me explain it first, right? So firstly, the day you start the job, or the week before if you want, you're going to put these through 10 neighbours that side, 10 that side, and 20 opposite where possible, okay? Now on the letter, as you can see, you put it through like that, yeah? And then it opens up, and it's just a picture of a job. And then on the back of it, now you probably won't be able to read that. Can I get a bit there? No, it doesn't matter. Dear Sir or Madam, our company have been asked by one of your neighbours to carry out some work on their property. We would like to give you pre-warning of this, and hopefully this letter can answer any questions you may have. Blah, 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 blah. We estimate that this job will take a little space there to put in the amount of days it's going to be. So 10 days, for example. Up here, a little bit about noise, a little bit about mess and dust, a little bit about our teams, and a contact us number if they've got any problems. And then, of course, at the bottom, oh, and if you would like a free quote, then please get in touch. Right, guys, this is a sales letter. It's nothing else, but it doubles up as you coming across as the most considerate contractor that there is. Right, not only that. Right now, I used to get phone calls from neighbours on this, and they'd phone me up and say, "I don't want a driveway or a patio, but I just want to say that was so considerate of you." They loved it, and I'm going to keep it for when I do, or any of my friends and family do. Right. So not only does it, to all the neighbours, you look like the most considerate contractor out there, right? Not only that, right? When you go to see the client, the original client who you're actually doing the job for, so you go to quote that client, yeah, and you're standing on the driveway or looking up at the roof or whatever you're doing, you say to them, "Oh, and by the way, Mr. Jones, just so you know, if you choose us as your contractor, before we start the job, we're going to put one of these through all your neighbours." They're immediately going to go, "What is that? What's that?" And you say, "Oh, it's just a letter, just letting them know that we're in the area, we're going to be doing some work, there might be a little bit of noise, there'll be some vans parked in the street, maybe a skip and so on." And then your client loves it. And you'll see them, they'll physically be like, "Oh, that's right, because he got an extension done last week," pointing to the neighbour over the road, "or last year, and they were a disaster, they parked their vans over my driveway," and you know what they're like, right? Blah, 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 blah. So not only are the neighbours going to love this, but they actually use it as a selling tool when you're in front of the client, and they absolutely love that. Guys, just builds professionalism. It just builds it, and again, you've heard me say this before, right? A client will forget 80% of what you say to them, including this, right? They won't forget how you make them feel. And if they feel like, oh, this guy's like so professional, he's so considerate, he's so honest, transparent, and so on and so on and so on, then you've got a much better chance of winning that job. Okay. And then when you win the job, you put them out, and you've got a much better chance of one of the neighbours calling you up after they see your work, wherever that may be, or knock their neighbour's door, who you done the job for. You've got a much better chance of getting a lead from that. And that's a great quality lead, that type of lead who've been watching you the whole week and seen your work. So that's number one. Number two is so simple, guys. And this is what I mean with 10 nil coaching, 20 nil coaching, right? It's all simple. It's stuff that you know, but without sort of some form of business coaching or business coaching platform, you don't think you need it, or you struggle to do it consistently. So number two is a phone call en route. Okay, when you're going to see that client to quote, yeah, phone the client. Don't text them, right? Phone the client and say, "This is how it will go." Now, watch a change in tone from the client. If he thinks I'm going to cancel the appointment, watch, right? Hello. Hi, Mr. Jones. It's Darren here from Trade Coach. Oh, hi, Darren. Hi, Mr. Jones. I've got an appointment with you today between 2 and 3 o'clock. Uh-huh. He thinks I'm going to cancel, yeah? Well, it's just to let you know, Mr. Jones, that I'm on my way and my sat nav is telling me I'll be there around about 10 past 2. Oh, that's brilliant, Darren. Thanks for phoning, so I'll see you when you get here. And you know what they're like. They start having a little bit of banter and they'll sometimes give you directions, even though you just told them you've got a sat nav. Don't worry about that, right? But then what happens is you get to the door. And what does the customer do? He opens the door and says, "Hi, Darren. You're on first name terms already. You've potentially already had a little bit of banter on the phone." And guys, again, it's just professional. People buy from people. Everyone knows this. We know this, right? People buy from people. So if you guys are on first name terms, you've maybe already had a little bit of banter or whatever, then that can only be a good thing and lead you closer to the sale. Guys, you'll know from this, right? There's nothing worse than going to see a client and he opens the door and says, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I forgot you were coming," or "My wife's away out," or the worst one, "What company are you again?" Fucking hated that one. So rude. Guys, just do this phone call and it's going to eradicate all of that. Not only that, you'll be on first name terms and you've probably even had a little bit of banter with the client before you've even got there. That's number two. Number three, I'm going to have to share screen. So 1 second, right? So guys, see when I'm talking about 10 nil coaching, right? Remember, it's always us against them, as in the competition, right? So when I had my business, I was constantly thinking, what are they not doing? What are they not saying? Right? Like phoning first, for example, like the neighbours letter. I knew my competitors were doing anything close to this. I knew they weren't phoning on the way. They probably weren't even texting, but I knew they certainly were not phoning on the way unless they were running late. Okay, so always try and think about what are they not doing? How can you be better than them? Because when you're up here and they're down here in terms of performance, then that customer's not buying on price. Okay, so number three is how are you sending your quotes? I know that 90% of people watching this video, this is how they send their quote. They'll either send a zero quote, like just a standard zero template, or they'll send a text quote, i.e. text message or email. "Hi, Mr. Jones, thank you for seeing me. This is just to confirm that your quote for your new windows and doors is going to be £12,448. If you want to go ahead, please get in touch," or whatever, right? Not absolute crap, absolute garbage, guys. You're just the same as everybody else. There's no goal here. There's no 1-0 there, right? So I want you to think about how you send your quote, right? And I'm going to show you how I send my quote. Now, the way to think about this, right, is if we're all the same, if we're exactly, my company and your company are exactly the same throughout the process, but I send this quote and you send your quote, who's going to win the job? Because sometimes, guys, it is these tiny, tiny, thin margins that win the job. So here's my quote here. Now, make sure that's one page. Guys, who wins the job? By the way, whilst I'm on this thing. Here's a little thing that I done. See up here, MB50. So that was a little reference number I used to put on all my jobs. So what it meant was the first two letters were the initials of the fitter that I thought was best fitted for this job. So in this case, Mark Brown. Okay, the job was 50 square meters, and I had quoted 3 days. So at quick glance, me or my team knew that next week, if we had this job starting next week in North Gale Terrace, next week there was a 50 square meter. Mark Brown was on that, and it was a 3 day job. Just a simple little thing for you to add to your business or your quote. But guys, there's three little things that you can put into your business straight away, like literally straight away. And now it's probably going to take more than 3 to be charging 5,000-10,000 more than this guy and win the job. But again, if you want to jump on a call with me, we'll have a discovery call. We'll talk about you, your business. If you mention 10-0 to me, I'll add another 3 to the 3 I've just given you just now, and then you'll be 6-0 better than this guy. At that point, you can add 10% to your price. Guys, imagine if you can get to 20-0 better than this guy. How much can you add to your price at that point? And that's what we teach here at Trade Coach. Right, it's a fundamental part of my business model, is teaching all my clients to get 20-0 better than their competition. Guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Darren Henderson. I owned a driveway and landscaping company here in Edinburgh, and I started that business with nothing, like literally nothing, a bunch of leaflets. It cost me 57 quid. We built the business to 2 million quid, and we sold it for just under £1 million. Now I can tell you more about this if we jump on a call if you want to know it. I'm not here to bore you with my background story, but that's literally how I effectively made my money. During that time, making that money, I was buying into property. I now own just under £2 million worth of property in the UK, and I've got a place abroad as well. I teach that as well. I don't teach that professionally as such, but it is part of my course, as in property. Property, if you're a tradesman, property is such an avenue for you. But with your skill set and your contacts, guys, you really need to be jumping into, you really want to be jumping into property to create proper wealth. But that's entirely up to you. There's lots of other investment opportunities out there. But guys, by all means, if you want to jump on a call with me, we can talk about your business, your problems, what's working, what's not. I can give you 3 more CNEs to add to your business. And yeah, have a good day.